Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. We are so happy that you are here. This is our last Shabbat on the beach of the season, and it has been a glorious summer. Thank you for sharing this Shabbat on the beach with us all summer long. We are now in the month of Elul, which is the Hebrew month that prepares us for the High Holy Days. It is a time of return, where we return to our better selves. We return to one another. We return to this community that we call home, whether it's on the beach or through the screen or from our sanctuary. We return. I'm Cantor Julia Cadrain. I'm so happy to be joined by Rabbi Zach Pleasant, Rabbi Ilana Nemetoff-Bressler. We have so many wonderful members of our staff here. We have Mike Lantowski, we have Chris on sound and Sean on video. We have Brian Bierman and Stephanie Schwartz. We have our new communications director, Noah, who's there in the back with a striped shirt, taking pictures and sharing this beautiful experience with us. Welcome, Noah. Troy is here and Lester is here.
And we have Robert.
And Robert is here and Tim is here too. What a team. Thank you so much. We continue with bringing a little light.
So this week, we had the pleasure of giving 3 young people Hebrew names. 2 young ladies who are twins, and they affirmed their commitment to living a Jewish life with incredible names that they chose themselves, about bravery and about gentleness that demonstrate who they are. And then this afternoon, along with Rabbi Pleasant, I had the honor of helping a honest, curious, intelligent, and gentle young man join the Jewish community to which his soul had always been connected. So I would like to invite up Aiden and Stella and Charlie and their parents to come light our Shabbat candles because they have always belonged to our community, and we're excited to officially welcome them.
Thank you and welcome. We're moving into the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, these Psalms that help us to sink into the joy and the peace of Shabbat by making joyful sounds together. I want to tell you, as we prepare to continue singing together, if it's your first time with us or your 1,000th time, you have always belonged here. Page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShabbat, Malachei Hayom.
137.
Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's 137, thank you. Boachem Lishalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Hayom. page 130. Let us sing unto God, sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God, sing unto God a new song.
We turn to Lachado D, the section of our service where we formally welcome Shabbat. We are going to sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And on verse 9, we are going to rise, as has become our custom while we're here on the beach. We're going to turn this way and enjoy this beautiful sun on its way down. We are on pages 138 and 139.
צולה תוך אמונה עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה
We remain standing and turn to page 146 for Barth.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch et Please be seated. We'll sing our Shema tonight, which is on page 152, with a melody by an Israeli composer whose name is Svika Pick, who passed away just last week. So we sing this with gratitude for what he brought to our Jewish world. Before we sing this, I want to invite us to take a few breaths together, putting our palms up just like this, and breathing in, bringing our hands towards our face, and out, and breathing in, and out. And one more time, breathing in, and out, and then taking those two hands and gently placing them over our eyes, and singing our Shema together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen.
Emet. Our song of freedom is on page 158. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you,
our prayer for shelter and protection on page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha shelter us. May you shelter us with peace until the morning comes. May you lay us down with love. May you lay us down with love, and may you raise us up. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom, Lehamidenu Shamreinu, L'chaim, L'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom, Lehamidenu Shamreinu, L'chaim,
When we're in our sanctuary and we get to our Amida, our standing prayer, we stay in one place, letting the prayer elevate us from that fixed position. Here on the beach, we have the opportunity to move our bodies into a place that can help conduct the prayer better. We will first begin singing Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, welcoming our voices, our mouths to open in song. And then we invite you to find your own spot on the beach, maybe by the water, maybe standing somewhere on the sand, to witness the majesty of nature. When you hear the sounds of the nigun starting again, Achad Sha'alti, we invite you to come back to us so that we may continue our service. We rise and turn to page 116.
Adonai, Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Okay, let's do a little niguning. Let's do
Oh, not Achad Sha'alti?
No, we will do that, but just to bring people back. We'll come back together now. We welcome you to settle back in. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Achad Sha'alti, Psalm 27. Achad Sha'alti, Meit Adonai. Achad Sha'alti, Ota B'kei. Achad Sha'alti, Meit Adonai. Achad Sha'alti,
this afternoon was awesome. I was sitting in my office at home on a Zoom call and got completely distracted by pounding rain on the roof. When I looked out the window, it was this barrage of rain so thick I couldn't see the trees through it. Sometimes, unfortunately, that's our pain, our anger, our sadness. It's thick and viscous. And sometimes we witness someone else immersed in their pain, so deep in it that all they need, one of the things they need, is for someone to see them, to pray for them. We know that there are many members of our society and our community who are in need of those prayers, and some who are not in as deep pain, yet still in pain. And for all of those in pain, we offer our prayer of Mishaberach, our prayer of healing. Those who have been made known to us are Yisrael Avraham Ben Chia Rachel, Marta Adams, Frida Easton, Steve Elliott, Jackie Fuchs, Lanny Gans, Jeff Helfand, David Hidalgo, Peter Hort, Penny Castelli, Natalie Kellner, Phyllis Kamansky, Don Matthews, Barbara Nash, Stephen Newworth, Ruth Ocean, Carol Randall, Robbie Rajano, Deborah Lynn Ross, Sandy Schenker, Kathy Soroka, Eric Steiskin, Esther Stone, Joyoto Tamakuwala, Joan Wetzler, Yocheved Sarah Bat Etel, Moshe Yaakov Ben Yocheved. If there's someone you're thinking of in need of healing, I invite you to share their name aloud. All of them in our hearts and those in our community, and we turn to page 371 for Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor Bracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor habracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
I never know how much room I have. When Rabbi Friedman does it, it's like effortless. Fine. Great. So, last week, I had the privilege of officiating a wedding in Newport, Rhode Island. And because Newport, Rhode Island is quite the destination for weddings over the summer, I also got a couple of days off and got to have a little mini vacation, spend a couple of days in Newport. The wedding was beautiful. I was honored to officiate in such a lovely spot, a beautiful couple in a beautiful space. And then I spent a day doing what you do in Newport. We ate good food. We did the cliff walks. We went to the mansions. But before I left, there was one other thing in Newport that I had to do, being the good rabbi that I am. I had to visit Toro Synagogue. Has anyone been to Toro Synagogue? Oh, wow. Great. I don't need to give the sermon anymore. Toro Synagogue, for those of you who don't know or who were just raising your hand because you wanted to seem like you had also been there, Toro Synagogue is the oldest synagogue in the United States that is still in active use. There was a synagogue in Charleston that was older, but it no longer exists. Toro Synagogue is the oldest synagogue in America. It is a beautiful building. It looks just like you would imagine a typical colonial New England sort of schoolhouse style structure to be. It is a beautiful building. We got to sit in the I guess their sanctuary. It's really a one room synagogue. But we sat. We learned a little bit of the history of the community. It started out all Sephardic Jews, most of whom left. It ended up becoming a more Ashkenazi Orthodox synagogue that still exists to this day. They have a rabbi, and they are active members of the community. And I got to say, finally, after all the years of learning and studying, that I too, like all of you, had been to Toro Synagogue in Newport, Rhode Island. In addition to the synagogue itself and the fact that it is the oldest community, the oldest synagogue in the United States, there is another part of the history of Toro Synagogue and the Jews of Toro Synagogue that is of particular note. So I happened to be in Newport last weekend, in the third weekend in August, where they commemorate by annually reading the well-known letter from George Washington to the Jews of Newport, Rhode Island. Have you heard of this letter? Okay. Fewer people. This is great. My sermon actually means something. So, in 1790, on August 17th, George Washington wrote a letter to the Jews of Newport, Rhode Island. This was part of George Washington's campaign, sort of in support of the Bill of Rights. He was traveling all around the country, promoting what would become the Bill of Rights, to vote in favor of the Bill of Rights. And he wrote this letter to the Jews of Newport, Rhode Island, in which he said, and this is the quote that may be familiar to some of you since all of you have been to Toro Synagogue and many of you have heard of the letter. The quote that many of you know is, the United States government shall give to bigotry no sanction and to persecution no assistance. Hugely important sentence in the history of the United States. This is really the phrase that is used as the backbone of religious tolerance and religious equality in the United States. Rhode Island itself and the Jews of Newport and the Jews of Rhode Island really became the paradigmatic example of what religious freedom could and should look like in the United States. And a lot of it came from this letter. What I learned, I had heard that phrase before from the letter, but what I didn't know actually was that earlier in the letter, Washington sort of goes to bat against the idea of tolerance. He says that tolerance is too low a standard. We should not be aiming for tolerance. We have to do more than that. True equality is really the only way forward in the United States, and that's what Washington wanted. Not just tolerance of people who are different from the majority or people who are different from they were, but true equality, not just tolerance. So this was sort of profound learning for me to realize that even in 1790, to be honest, right, a country that is built largely on Christian values and Christian principles, that there was such, not just tolerance, but real active religious freedom, equality phraseology in this letter, and that was really a part of what Washington wanted. So tolerance, not great. Religious equality, really important. This famous line, right, to bigotry, no sanction, to persecution, no assistance. But actually, there's another line in this letter that has become my favorite line in the letter, and I would argue in the 21st century, arguably is better known than the other line that I just read. You see, in 2015, when playwright Lin-Manuel Miranda was writing, what's it called, Hamilton, he chose to use this quote from the letter that George Washington wrote to the Jews of Newport, Rhode Island, in what became the song known as One Last Time, Washington's final sort of final song in the show, as he declares that he's not going to seek re-election, establishing term limits for the next several hundred years. He says, Washington, now this is not a George Washington quote, this actually is Washington quoting the Hebrew prophet Micah. Washington says, "Everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid." Everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. To me, that line might be the most important line in the entire letter. Why? Because it sort of distills down what people want to just one thing, right? I want to feel safe. I want to feel at home. I want to sit under my own vine and fig tree, Christopher Jackson later sings in the song. I want to sit under my own vine and fig tree. A moment alone in the shade is the quote from the song in Hamilton, but Washington, quoting the prophet Micah, really distills what we're looking for into one idea. I want to feel safe. I want to feel at home. It's actually the same feeling that Cantor Gudrun just sang about in Achat Sha'alti, Psalm 27. Achat Sha'alti, one thing I ask from you, God, to dwell in Baveit Adonai, in the house of God, in God's home forever. That's the only thing that I want. One thing, to feel at home, to feel safe. Psalm 27, Achat Sha'alti, is sort of the psalm of the season, right? The month of Elul begins tomorrow, and we are traditionally, we say this psalm every single day in the month of Elul. And that's what we're asking for, just to feel at home. So I think Washington got it when he quoted Micah, right? The idea of religious freedom, there's a lot going on in America that is unsure. Is the Jewish community of Newport going to feel sort of on par with the rest of this new country? I want to feel safe. I want to feel at home. I want to sit under my own vine and fig tree. And so when we sing Psalm 27, are calling out for that same longing. We want to feel at home. We want to feel safe. We want to feel like we can sit under our own vine and fig tree. And because it's the month of Elul, we start this work of Cheshbon HaNefesh. Cheshbon HaNefesh, an accounting of the soul. We do this hard work. It's supposed to be hard. This hard work where we look at ourselves in the month leading up to Rosh Hashanah, and we say, how am I doing? What have I done in the past year that I would like to continue doing? What do I need to change? To whom do I need to make amends? To whom do I need to apologize? How can I be a better human being? That's our task in the month of Elul and leading to the High Holy Days. And to be honest, I'm not sure that any of us could do that work if we didn't feel at home. If we didn't have a space where we felt safe, where we felt at home, where we felt like we could sit under our own vine and fig tree and not be afraid. That's sort of a prerequisite. If we don't feel safe or at home, we can't do this really hard and really important work of Cheshbon HaNefesh. So, what is our task for the next month and into the High Holy Day season? Well, we're going to do that work of Cheshbon HaNefesh, but in order to do that, we need to know what our safe place is, what our feeling of home is. So here's one thing that I can offer, that we can offer. Temple Israel can be home for you. It has certainly become a home for me now that this is the end of my second Shabbat on the beach season, which is really hard to believe. Come home to TI. We have so many events so many different opportunities to welcome you into our space, which we want you to feel like is a home over the next couple of weeks, over the next month, and of course, on September 25th, when we begin Rosh Hashanah. Temple Israel can be that Beit Adonai that we sung about, that house of God that also is a house, a safe space, a safe place for all of us to sit and do the work on ourselves, to do the work for and with each other as one sacred community. You can always, always come home to TI. Keni Hiratzon. May it always be so.
We honor the souls who have gone home to their eternal Maker. We remember them. We hold them in our hearts. This evening, we remember those who were taken from us most recently: Francine Grace Plaza, mother of Paul and Sherry, Sam and Ed, William and Farzana, grandmother of Tess, Max, Chloe, and Amara. And we remember those whose Yurtzites occur: Evelyn Shulman Chaffetz, Julian Harris Cohen, Ruth Elliott, Robin Prince Engel, Doris Fishman, Melvin Freeman, Philip Galambos, Minnie Z. Green, Sarah Emily Centauria Henkoff, Hyman Jaffe, Iris Jaffe, Harry Cohn, Charles S. Narens, Nathan Nevis, Leo Nevis, Marvin Poster, Stephen Rabinowitz, Arthur Rosen, J. Morton Rosenblum, Janice Sale, Sally Schindler, Z. Willie Segelbaum, Frida Sobel, Fanny Stein, Leo Strauss, Estelle Strauss, Maureen Whiteman. If there's someone you're remembering this evening for a Yurtzite or they're in your heart, I invite you to rise and share their name aloud. Remember them all, and I invite you to join those who are standing as we recite Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish, can be found on page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'amad Yivrach Hirutei v'yamlich Malchutei, V'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam omei amaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal Shemei dekudusha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. V'hei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, Amen.
Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We invite you to find your seats again. What a beautiful night. Such a pleasure to share this with you. Next week, we have another beautiful night planned. We will have a Shabbat under the stars at Temple Israel out on the lawn we get to honor and lift up our executive director, Brian Bierman, and celebrate his 10 years of service. It is so easy to celebrate, Brian. Yes. Just let's get our applause ready and warmed up. Next week, we'll bring even more. So please come and join us and help to be part of that celebration. That same night, we also have a Young Family Shabbat at 5. And so if that's you, if you have children, please come and join us for that. Friends, what else do we need to share?
The weekend after that is Shalom Fest. It's our kickoff. Welcome back to Temple Israel, inside our building, outside our building. It's the first day of Kesher. It's going to be amazing. So check your emails for that. We're so excited to welcome you home. What else?
I have one. You may have seen in an email, we have an event on September 6th called Shema, Courageous Communications Across Divides. Our Connect core group did a bunch of house meetings this past year, and one of the things that we heard from you was it's kind of hard to talk to people these days, especially people with whom you disagree. And so this is a workshop to help you do exactly that, a workshop to create courageous communication across divides. I'm really excited about it. Ask me questions if you want afterwards, but I invite you all to join me at that on September 6th. We're going to do Kiddush and Motzi before we
are.
close.
And before we do that, if you are in Kesher and you sat through the service and participated, and you come up to me, and I'll write your name down, and if you come to 4 services throughout the year, you can get a pizza or ice cream party.
And in fact, you should actually come up right now because we would love your help with the Kiddish and the Motzi. So come on up. If you are a child, come on up and join us. We're all children at heart. The young are young at heart.
Bar bat mitzvah. Let's do it at that.
Under the age of bar and bat mitzvah, come on up, friends. Let's raise a glass and sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei puri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta le'otanu kiddashta mikol ramim v'shabbat kodshecha Be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Kaddish HaShabbat L'chaim. Let's bless that challah. Friends, let's sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avo. We return, we return, we return, we return, we return, we Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.